This is Technobabble, episode 38. I'm joined today by Dan and Cynthia. We talk about some gaming news, a little bit of PC hardware news, and we get off on a couple tangents as usual. So join us today, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back for another Technobabble podcast. This is episode 38, and I'm joined by two lovely other people.
Aww.
Well, one of us is lovely. I don't know if I'm so lovely.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Jeff, because I forget to introduce myself consistently.
It's true, yeah.
And I'm joined by Dan, which you recognize.
Hello, I'm Dan.
And Sid's back again for a record third time.
I'm lovely.
Yeah, I agree. You add that loveliness to the podcast.
Yeah.
Right
Aww.
before, no flowers. Now, flowers.
If that's what your listeners want.
Flowers.
I have no
Flowers.
idea what they want. Nobody talks to me, so
Cool.
I don't care. I do a podcast for me.
For the fun of it.
Yep.
Sometimes people listen. Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, if they enjoy it, that's great.
Yeah.
Flowers.
Flowers! We got stuff to talk about. Not a lot of tech news. We got some gaming news. We're going to talk about what we've been doing. And it's probably be a little bit shorter of an episode, so
That's all right.
short but sweet.
And we can take a nap after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably won't because I'll have to edit. But
Right. I'm sorry.
I'd say that. All right.
What's up in the news?
Let's dig in. All right. We got one news thing.
All right. What's our one news thing?
That sort of has to do with Intel and AMD, but AMD first, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. MSI dropped a little tidbit of information, which I sort of had a hint about. Well, I sort of had a feeling about going down to 7 nanometer with their next Zen
Yeah.
CPU.
Well, that's been rumored, right?
Well, the 7 nanometer's been rumored.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
In fact, it's been confirmed because
That's
AMD
not
told
news,
us.
Jeff.
That's not. What is news is that it's sort of starting to come out that they are going to be releasing basically double core counts, essentially, from the original Ryzen chips.
Awesome. Double up.
As
How many-
Cynthia yawns.
Yeah, yeah.
Super excited.
You have an MSI laptop?
Sure.
But it's Intel powered.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's great. It works. It does exactly what I want. One, please.
It's only got two.
Two
No, wait, no,
goes
it's got
on
4
YouTube.
cores. That one's a 4-core HQ one, right?
Yes.
The one that's an actual 6700
6700 HQ. That's-
Headquarters?
Yes.
headquarters.
Stands for high quality. Unlike that AMD crap. I'm so sorry. It's a joke. You know what? That joke used to my anti-AMD rhetoric used to be funny, but now it's not because they're winning.
It's not. They're kicking butt now.
Well, they're caught up at least.
Okay, the
And
next
winning in
generation,
some
if
things.
Intel doesn't have
You've
something,
been saying that for years, Jeff. We'll see. No, I have no confidence in Intel anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be the
This
Intel
is a
guy.
lot more exciting.
When we started this, all right, it was like red versus blue kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now it's just
it's
red.
just-
Well, it
it's
is
a-
red versus
what's
blue. But there's
the-
no blue representative anymore.
I've failed my team. To be fair, the only reason I was on Team Intel was because they had better chips at the time.
What team am I?
You can be your team.
Am I Switzerland?
You're blue green.
Hmm?
Your team blue green.
Turquoise?
Yeah,
Is that what that makes?
yeah, ish.
Maybe
Yeah.
not. I don't know.
You can
Because
be
you're
team-
blue green as well,
Aqua?
technically.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Teal. It makes
But
teal.
my next PC might be Team Red.
I'm team red, green,
You have
blue,
everything.
red.
You have everything. You're the everything at this point.
Red, green, blue,
you
red.
mix it up. You have one system that's Intel with AMD graphics,
Yeah.
and then you have the other system that's an AMD chip with NVIDIA graphics.
Yeah.
So
1070 Ti.
So you don't-
I'll be honest. Best card I've ever had.
So you don't really have a side.
now, just
Oh,
right
I'm
now,
AMD,
No, he thinks
but
he's AMD.
I'm AMD on the CPU side. But on the graphics card side, I there's nothing to compete with NVIDIA right now. So
So what it is Jeff is just confused. He's tech fluid at the moment. I'm sorry.
I like it. I'm tech fluid.
He also has a liquid cooled system.
Can
so,
we put that on our passport? No? Tech
I don't-
fluid?
Should be able
What's
to.
where?
No,
Our-
because they don't
our-
ask you your
our
technical
tech orientation?
Yeah.
Oh,
Our tech
not
orientation
important.
fluid.
But no, that's I mean, all jokes aside,
Coolant.
That's
Sorry.
yeah, that's fair though, because like you're a bit of an AMD fan, but
I'm
you're
a
willing
huge
to
AMD
recognize when they're not keeping up.
Well,
with Intel
see, here's the thing:
or NVIDIA.
Vega can keep up with Nvidia's 1070 Ti, but that's not their highest end card. Nvidia still has what
A lot more.
3
10.
more tiers over that,
Yes, but
plus a Titan Volta or whatever it is. Yeah, Volta, right?
Titan
Yeah.
V
Yeah. So
or 5? Is it 5 or I don't know.
I don't know.
Titan V. Yes, but well, here's the other thing is that, and we've talked about Vega before, but can you even buy a Vega 64 yet? Like,
Yeah.
you can still buy. It's still
Oh, yeah, they're out there.
$900 for no reason.
Yeah, yeah. There's 56s are around the same price as the 1070 Ti. Though.
That makes sense because that's actually lining up.
Well,
somewhat.
it lines up with the 1070.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So, but it's close.
It's close, and it's
Almost
about
there.
the same power draw, so
Yeah.
it's almost
It's close.
almost equal. And the 56 will pull ahead in certain cases, and the 56 would be the card I'm interested in because it's
affordable.
It's affordable.
The 64 costs
yeah.
like $300 more than the 1080, and it's not as good.
Yeah, and the 1080 is the
So-
same price as 1070 Ti here in Canada, so
Which
it's
is also weird,
so
yeah,
confusing. Anyway, we're looking at possibly the high end, the new high end AMD chips, Ryzen chips with the Zen 3 core, to have 16
Sorry, isn't it Zen 2?
Zen 2. You were correct.
It's Zen Plus.
Zen 2, but it's the third generation.
third generation.
Yep.
Technically second. Generation.
So 7 nanometer, but they're looking at possibly having 16 core, 32 thread. Yes, please.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know what I use it
here's the
for,
thing.
but I'll buy it.
Okay, here's a philosophical question of sorts. With the speeds, we're not being able to get much past. Like we're getting into the 4s. AMD's had struggled breaking the 4 barrier. Now they have with the second generation Ryzen stuff. But now we're getting into the core. Like AMD's started a core war. We'll call it.
Well, I think you have to because
makes sense.
Intel's hitting a brick wall at 5 gigahertz.
Yeah, and the consoles did this first, right? Like they started doing the core thing to make up for lack of
Yep.
Of overall power.
Yep.
So this is the logical.
Well, it's
way
the only way we
market's
can go because
But when do-
we're running out of any way to get any more performance out of these chips.
going. Yeah.
I mean, AMD was a special thing with Ryzen, with Zen, because they had such a crappy chip before that. It's a good chip, but it was only good in certain circumstances. But it just, it couldn't compete. And now they got this new chip, and you only see that kind of jump every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
It just,
Well, here's the thing. That like my question is like when do we start hitting the core cap or core wall? Like, I mean, we're already doing it in terms of like.
well, if we can
games.
keep going down a nanometer, we can keep going with
We can
cores.
keep going. It's true, but we've seen it with games where like now we're starting to get more and more that use more cores and use more cores.
Well,
it's
DirectX
been-
12 and Vulkan should be able to use them all
In theory,
if the games
they
are
start
designed right.
designing them that way, and that's the part of that's
Yeah.
kind of my point is. And I'm more of a gamer than anything else. I mean, I'm sure there's other people like that do video editing and all that stuff that can use more of that.
Yep.
But for like, when do we start getting to the like? Okay, this is ridiculous, awesome, but ridiculous.
No, we're already in
I
ridiculous.
think we're already
We're
there.
already in ridiculous.
But I'm hoping, and the main thing there is can the design catch up? Like, can new games start using all these cores and we can
Well, we need to see real commitments from video game makers to move to DirectX 12.
right?
That just it needs to
It
start
needs to
happening
I'm
really
surprised
badly.
at that. I mean, especially with the adoption of like Windows 10 and all that stuff. You
Yeah.
don't have a lot of people on the older systems
Yeah.
anymore. The dropping of support by Microsoft. Like, why are we? Like, we gotta go DX12 or Vulkan. I like Vulkan.
Well, Vulkan's great too.
Let's just use
Vulkan's great
Vulkan.
too. I'd rather have an independent platform.
And you see people using Vulkan like Doom did.
It runs
That
great on
runs
everything.
Amazing, and you
Yeah.
don't have to worry. Like, that's what I'm hoping we're getting to.
I mean, it runs
now.
on a Nintendo Switch.
Like,
I mean,
you can. I'm running it at the full widescreen 3440 by 1440. I just played Doom recently, and like the 1080, it didn't even spin up. It didn't even care. It's like, yeah, you're running at ultra, whatever.
Go for
doesn't
it.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great. It runs like a dream.
so
100 hertz.
it's interesting we talk about cores, right?
Mhm.
My latest build had the Intel 8350K in it, and it's turned out to be a pretty good chip.
Well,
And
that's an
it
amazing chip.
plays games great.
Mhm.
I'd say I could probably get a little bit more out of it if I had a few more cores on games like Forza because they're DirectX 12. But
Which is why, for the same price, I probably would have gone with the i5 8400. which
You
is
could. I wanted
blocked.
to be able to overclock, but it's.
I know you
yeah,
you wanted
yeah,
to try out the overclock,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like if you're a normal like that doesn't really care about that normal user,
Yeah.
you probably would.
And that's what I would have
8400 for
done.
the
My
extra
my plan is to swap this out for the 80 whatever it is. The what is it called? The 8700.
8700K, the big one.
Yeah, yeah.
Too bad we didn't win our 8086s from that giveaway, right? That'd have been cool.
Didn't hear about anybody winning them, so I don't
Yeah, I
know.
have no idea what happened yet. But
Anyway, yeah. So that's
yeah.
nice.
I mean, it's to the point now where if you're trying to run stuff on a dual core, you're probably going to be in trouble. Quad cores are still good.
Yeah,
That's about the sweet
Kevin
spot.
runs Overwatch 2 with E8600 dual core 2 duo
Are you Destiny 2, you mean?
or Destiny 2. Yeah, not Overwatch.
Yeah,
2,
I mean,
Destiny
I'm
2.
surprised. To be fair, that's another game, but I'm like this
With
is a
with
very
a
good-looking
with a
game.
GTX 750 Ti that I bought for him.
Yeah, like it's a very good looking game, and you can run it on nothing. Like it's another
Yeah.
one of those.
And that's a 1080. He runs it at 1080p. I don't think he runs it in high spec, but 1080p
Probably
he runs it on.
Still, the fact that you can even play a AAA title like that on
Yeah.
E8600.
Pretty impressive. It's
It's
pretty
pretty good.
impressive.
Speaking of which, we should play more of that. But anyway, moving on.
I agree. All right. Speak of more hardware, Microsoft said around on Cynthia's birthday.
What?
Ah, hello. Welcome back.
Is that my name?
Say my name. Say what? Anyway, okay. They're going to be announcing new hardware and stuff at Gamescom, so we're going to probably see the new Xbox, or at least hear about the new Xbox.
Yeah, I don't.
And there's supposed to be new Xbox One bundles and stuff announced too.
Well, did you notice that? I think they retracted some of that.
Oh, did
Was
they? I
it,
didn't know that.
Major,
Oh,
What's his name? Major Nielsen? Is that his name? He was the one that tweeted it, if I remember right.
oh
and
I
they
see. Yes,
retracted some
you're
of
right. Okay, there is an update on here. It says Microsoft has updated the blog post and changed the text from all new Xbox hardware and accessories to new Xbox One bundles and accessories. So I could be
Yes.
completely wrong.
I'm
Then.
guessing it's new controller, maybe a new Elite controller type thing.
Well, it'd be
Now,
good to see
if
a
they
new
do
Elite
show
controller.
The new, I mean, we were saying that 2020 was when they were going to come out with the new Xbox.
Yep.
That was the rumor, and I think it was a similar date for PlayStation because they usually come out at the same time ish, roughly. So they could be showing it off already. It's only it's 2 years away, but still.
It could be someone that wrote that article jumped the gun, and Microsoft didn't want them to say that quite like that.
Yeah,
They wanted it to be a surprise at the
Yeah.
event. So
Although if
we
they come out
could
now-
still see hardware.
Okay, if they come out now, and they're like, it's coming out like the end of this year or something, I'd be upset because I just got a 1X, like not too long
I
ago, and
just
you just
got
got a
an
1S.
S.
So, which, by the way, I don't know if we talked about this, but the one like Xbox, the 1X, fantastic piece of hardware, totally awesome. There's nothing to play on it at the moment.
well, you could play everything on it.
Yeah, but like nothing's out.
Not
right
every
now.
game has a X update to it.
A lot of stuff does.
Yeah.
I just have I personally like I've nothing to play on it right now. It's been sitting gathering dust for like
All
since
the time?
since South Park. I think I
Yeah.
played South Park last year on it, but I was gonna play Sea of Thieves on it, but then I just played it on computer because it was cross compatible. So.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that takes a lot of fun out of that article.
But we might see some cool stuff.
Wait, well, I have a feeling they may give us some specs, maybe like they did with the Xbox One X. They may give us some specs or something, maybe, of the new Xbox. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Which
That's
I'm gonna guarantee you at this point it's gonna be Zen based,
Mhm.
and it's a Zen APU, so Zen Vega. That's what it'll be. But beyond that, I don't know.
Vega would be cool.
Wouldn't it be like go way out left field if they went like back to PowerPC?
Oh,
That'd be
that would
wicked.
be weird.
That'd be wicked.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do
Speaking
it.
of Xbox technology, mainly what I was trying to do earlier was complain that Crackdown hasn't come out yet. But anyway,
Yes,
because that would have been a great. I'm just saying, if we had Crackdown right now, like we were supposed to, that'd be fun to play on Xbox. But
I'd
anyway,
love to be playing that right now.
oh, I was gonna say related to the Xbox. Did you see the new Samsung TVs? We talked about this, I think. The
With
2018 model
FreeSync?
Samsung TVs are gonna have FreeSync on them. FreeSync 2, I think.
That's
Support,
good. Everything
Which is
should have
awesome
FreeSync.
because the Xboxes have the FreeSync now.
Everything should have FreeSync.
Might as well. I mean,
Everything.
you got. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Everything should have FreeSync.
It's perfect for the console where you might get not as much of a. You might get a little more flux.
Yep.
With your frames per second. So it's gonna be butter smooth.
Yep.
That's awesome. We need a new Samsung TV for
What?
that Xbox that I haven't used in a long time.
What?
Can I have your
Why?
Vizio?
Yeah,
If you
want
get
to visit?
Samsung can have that, I'll hang it on the wall right there. Cover
Wall
all
mount
the
it?
cords.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cable management.
Cable management is crappy. Okay. Nintendo is taking 2 Arizona-based ROM sites to the courts to take them down.
What?
Well, there's a few websites on the internet that blatantly offer ROMs, just blatantly offer them, and Nintendo doesn't like that. So they're finally, after years and years of sending notices and whatever to them, finally taking them to court.
And this is interesting, the timing, because I know they don't like that, but they haven't gone aggressively after them yet. Whereas the stuff like YouTube, they went pretty hard. So it's a little bit like, it's not like they just realized that these were.
I have a conspiracy theory. Mm-hmm. All right, and I know I've told you this before. It's already been revealed that Nintendo took ROMs from these sites for their own Nintendo Classic Edition thing.
That's the key. They
did the same for the SNES.
Yeah.
Nintendo 64 retro console, most likely coming this year or next year.
Right.
I guarantee you, they went there, took those ROMs when they could get to them. Mm-hmm. Because I doubt they have any of that code anymore. Took those ROMs, and now they're like, all right, we're not going to be releasing any of these retros for any of the other ones because it's going to be too expensive to do it because they need all this extra storage. Let's take them to court, get them taken down.
Well, yeah.
That's my conspiracy theory, and I think it's a legitimate one. I think it's actually real.
Now that they've taken what they wanted.
Now that they've taken what they want, get them taken down.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, there's evidence to back it up. It's not that much of a conspiracy. Like, it's a bit, but it's speculation.
They're not saying it, so I can't say that's what they're doing.
But the fact that they've shown already that they've taken ROMs from, they let other people do their work for them, basically. And now, but it also makes sense from a business perspective to do it now because they have the retro consoles. They want to sell them. They don't want people building their own retro pies or what that kind of anymore. Before they didn't care because they didn't think it was a market.
Well,
then they were like,
and then they're not producing enough of them. Yeah, they're still not producing enough.
Oh, okay, so there is a market here. Yeah.
In fact, they actually have a new NES Classic out now.
Yeah.
That you can buy. That's the same as the last one, but I think they made some updates to the software, like the UI and so on. Mm-hmm. But you still can't buy it; it's sold out. Pretty much, as far as I know, EB Games and Chatham hasn't. Had some anyway.
That's spread. But Nintendo's weird. They're simultaneously geniuses and like business idiots. Like from what I'm not that I'm an expert.
They've always been that way.
I don't claim I'm an idiot in all of those categories. So I don't claim to be smarter than them. But it feels like they don't like. I don't get it. Like, they're smart and stupid at the same time.
Well, they've already announced there's going to be no virtual console on the Switch, right? So. Yeah, what is the purpose of taking all that stuff down? Because we can't play it any other way.
I can understand them. I guess it was an all or nothing. I'm assuming like they couldn't go after specific ROMs.
Yeah.
So they had to go after the whole shebang.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what it was.
Well, anything owned by Nintendo, yeah. So, sometimes companies seem backward to me, but Nintendo's like this, They got this, we love the consumer face on all the time, but then they litigate like crazy. It's like Apple.
I mean, the companies some of these console companies act kind of interesting towards ROMs. Like, sometimes they don't seem to care, but then when something hits, then they care. Like, Sony had something with that, too, with that PS3 emulator. It was pretty under the radar. Then the second that they put Persona 5 on it, then they got hit.
Yeah, well, that wasn't Sony. That was
Atlas.
Atlas.
But it's like they have to draw the attention of certain people, and then they get hit. Yeah. But most of the time they don't even acknowledge that they're there. So it's kind of a weird relationship. You'd expect them to get hit all the time, especially for someone like Nintendo, who's very strict on their IP. Like, they really protect it, which is smart because that's kind of that's their goal.
Which is good. It's just I would argue most of that Nintendo stuff has been deprecated at this point from the NES, the SNES, and so on. Mm-hmm. And if they're not going to be releasing a virtual console on their new system,
which is bizarre, but I guess
what are you protecting?
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly.
Well, except they're they're protecting their classic consoles.
Yeah, but if they're not releasing it again, look, they're not going to keep selling them forever.
No.
So, and you can't get a hold of them hardly anyway. So unless they're going to make that available to everyone, I don't
you know
think
what?
it doesn't make any
here's
sense.
Here's my bet. Once they stop selling the classic consoles, and another site pops up with ROMs, I doubt they'll get hit because they won't care again. You know, I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. Although I'm surprised it took them this long to do it after the release of the classic consoles.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's probably because they wanted them to come out with N64 ROMs and steal those first, and then do the N64 one, and then.
Yep.
See that, and then a bit of a sidebar. That's one I don't get. I had an N64. It was great. Loved it. Going back to an N64 right now is garbage. I understand going back to I never had one of those consoles. Maybe that's my own personal bias, but I understand going back to them because the 2D sprites are still somewhat they're not as like the 3D graphics on the N64 are garbage.
3D has
inducing.
not aged nearly as well as 2D.
Maybe I'm getting all kinds of hate now, but
no, it's true. Like, if you go back and look at some of those games, like I was looking back. Do you remember Gex or Gex, whatever it's called?
I love that game.
Gex,
With
yeah.
the guy. Yeah, it doesn't look that
Jack
good.
64,
No.
enter the gecko.
It does not look that good going
Ah,
back.
depends
It
what you
doesn't
do.
look bad though. The difference there is that it's sort of cartoony already.
Or
But
something
like
like
GoldenEye looks
GoldenEye.
terrible.
That's what I
is
was gonna say.
awful.
And the controls are really bad too because
Yeah.
they're not modern controls. You don't have
You
dual
can't-
analog and all that.
No, and you can't see
Even though-
anything.
There was a dual analog setting by using two controllers. for that
I
game.
only had like a few games on N64, like only a few, because I didn't have a lot of money and I just focused on mainly on Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart. Those are like my favorite things to play on that system, party games, when people came over or whatever. But I did have Ocarina of Time, which I liked. It was the only Zelda I've ever played, and I liked it a lot. But trying to play that now, like the graphics, I can't do it. I get like sick. Like I don't know what's going on, but the camera's awful. Like, and people are like, well, people love playing that game still. Like, I guess they came out with a HD edition and all that. Maybe it's better, but playing the original,
yeah.
I'm like, I can't take it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it was good back in the day, but now not so.
But like I can play like a retro like 2D game, like the Quest for Glory stuff I was playing, or like the Dark Sun I was talking about earlier. I can play those fine, no problem. But anything from that early 3D era, and I'm like, nope. I loved those games at the time, but not anymore.
It's sad to say, even playing Final Fantasy, it feels a bit like rough now. Like Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 feels. 9 isn't so bad, but 7 and 8 feel pretty rough now.
Yeah.
They're just.
But I'm sure if you go
looking
back
at
to
it.
the earlier ones, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just
You just didn't
well,
like them
they
as
were
much.
the same for so long, right? So
Yeah.
it's 2D for so long, and then
Yeah.
and then you had the new 3D one. So
But those were your favorite at the time, I assume those 3D ones, like 7, 8, 9.
it's all I'd known of, except for 5. I
Oh.
didn't realize. The thing was, we were introduced to Final Fantasy way earlier, and we just didn't know it. Our aunt had Final Fantasy on the NES.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one. And she would have us play it, and when we were playing, we would write down how much damage it'd take out to knock out the monsters. I don't remember doing that. We did that
for
Fantasy Star 4.
Fantasy Star 4 as well. Fantasy Star 4 was our first kind of like thing.
Fantasy Star 4 is the best RPG.
You can still play that game now, and it's fine.
Yes, it looks good.
But anyways, no, the 3D stuff is hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
To-
maybe part
to
of the
do.
reason we still like 2D stuff is because it's still very prevalent.
Yeah.
Like a lot of games come out 2D
Yeah,
style.
although I'll be honest, I don't play a lot of the new stuff.
I played
know,
some.
Well, it's popular. I'm just not the one
Yeah.
playing them.
A lot of them are like platformers, and I'm kind of sick of 2D side scrollers. I played them when I was a
Yeah.
kid, like Commander Keen, loved Commander Keen, all that stuff.
Jazz Jackrabbit.
Jazz Jackrabbit was awesome.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Anyway,
I didn't play Sonic, but yeah,
yeah, I know what he should.
it was Sega.
It's
have
the
that,
real speed.
I only had a computer, Jeff. You couldn't get it on PC, I don't think. Back in
No,
the day.
no,
now
no.
you can. We can get Mania.
Well, there was no Sonic CD. Was that on the P? No, I don't know if that ever came on the PC. Yes, it did actually,
Did
but you
it?
had to have a specific card to play it.
Oh, okay.
Always
Probably
with the
didn't have
rules.
Always with
But
the
Jazz
rules.
Jackrabbit and Commander Keen were awesome. But yeah, like
Apogee
nowadays,
software.
I don't really play those. I can't really think of the last time I played a 2D side scroll. Well, I played Terraria. That's kind of a 2D platformer, but it's mostly about mining and building stuff.
There's multiplayer coming to Stardew Valley now. You said
Oh,
Terraria.
Stardew Valley. That's
Yeah.
good. That's not really a platform again, but I love that 2D game. But yes,
You're
I
gonna
played
be
I
on
played
that,
some of
yeah.
the beta of multiplayer.
Would you?
It's actually kind of cool, but
I don't understand what you need multiplayer for.
You
on
don't.
that,
It's just kind of neat because you have like a joint farm, so you're both like doing stuff, but you don't have to be together. So you kind of like running off doing different things.
So you and Cynthia could both be farming on Stardew
We could be playing
Valley.
single player Stardew Valley at the same time, and you could get together to build a better farm or whatever. But
Oh,
Look
we don't
at
get to
that.
build nukes and kill each other.
no, that's Fallout.
I know.
That's not out yet.
Yeah, that's a really stupid idea. I'm just saying.
I
the
like I said,
chaos.
I don't know. I've got it on the cheap pre-order because it was like $30 off. I was like, sure, from Walmart. And so I have some friends that are
Walmart.
gonna play it. So I'm gonna like, well, we'll see how this goes. But
I think it's
I'm not
gonna
sure.
be stupid. I don't think you're gonna get anywhere, and you're gonna get frustrated.
maybe.
When it comes out them saying, or when it's asked specifically, but can you play it single player? They say, well, you can play it
But
single
that
player.
is not the question. So that was stupid because okay, you can't play it single player. So they're like, can you play single player? Like, well, you can, but the answer to that should be no because you actually cannot play it without other people in the game at the same time.
Okay, it should
So
be.
that's-
Can you
that's
play
the
it?
question. The question was,
Can you play it on your own?
Yeah. But what they took that was, can I play this without grouping up with someone? Yes, you can. But
Yeah.
there's still other people in the world. Like I want to know. If
Okay,
I can
well, I
play-
think you're taking it deeper than most people
Yeah.
were worried about with that question.
Well,
but I
no,
understand
that's my question because I don't want to be shot by some random guy. I know it's a PvP thing, but I want to
Yeah.
just build my own stuff. I don't want to, like, you can do that in.
They should
Conan.
have several servers that are PVE, PvP, or
Yeah.
RP.
Well, a lot of those type of survival games, from what I understand, I'm not into the genre that much, but you can make your own server and just play by yourself on the server.
Well, you can with
It said
oh no, it
Fallout
wasn't. No,
76,
sorry,
you
no.
can't choose your server.
You
can't
would
make
mention
your own
Conan,
server.
and you can make
Yeah,
your own.
Conan,
with Conan
you can, like
yeah.
Ark,
Yeah.
the dinosaur one you can,
Mm-hmm.
but like this one apparently you don't even know what server you're on. It's like a vague connection, kind of like Destiny, where you just end up with a bunch of people in a random server.
How are you?
Yeah,
but
that
they,
fills up too easy.
But they
Yeah,
talked
that's
about
really
like
annoying,
you
by the
could
way.
hang out with your friends. So how do
You
and
can probably
all?
invite them to come in and then join up.
Like we were trying to get Kevin the other night
Which
on
you couldn't
Destiny,
in
and we
Destiny
couldn't.
because the server was like the server's full. It's like we just want him
Just
to
one.
join our group. Like just put us in a different server. We don't care. We don't care about all these other people. But anyway,
All right.
I
If-
have less and less patience
When
for
it comes to
multiplayer,
that, if they can't sustain a large amount of people at the same time on one server,
Yeah.
don't do it that way, because it just ticks me off.
Yeah, it
ticks
just
you
ruins your experience. But anyway, the Fallout 76. I understand if I'm grouping up with someone and they want to go around and do PvP, that sounds fun. If you're by yourself, you don't want to do that because you're at a disadvantage. Case in point, anyone that played Sea of Thieves by themselves was a bad idea
You couldn't do
Because-
anything.
because no, you get overwhelmed by a crew of 4 people, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that's why I was wondering, like, when my friend's not on, can I still play the game and not have to worry about anyone else? I just want to like build bases. I just want to run around and explore. Just to
See,
kill some time.
that's something that's nice still with the traditional MMO, like World of Warcraft. You can still you can play that game single player,
Yeah, you can just play PvE and run around, right?
and yeah, exactly.
you wanna do
It
the
does get
dungeons-
hard toward the end doing some of it, but it's not as bad. I think they've made some changes.
And the time that you want to do the dungeons or whatever, you can do the looking for group,
exactly.
which is fun.
Not dungeons, raids, everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they actually just added DirectX 12 support to
Awesome.
World of Warcraft.
When does that come out, by the way? The Battle for Azeroth.
Is it August or September?
August.
Something like that, yeah.
September, yeah.
So, and they've added 21:9 cinematic rendering.
Oh, I can play now on my monitor.
Back to World of Warcraft.
Okay, here's a question.
I'm
If
playing
I-
World. I'm playing WoW.
If I get Battle for Azeroth, can I skip Legion and the other Iron? what was the other one called?
I think you can
Warlords?
do I think if you pre-order something, you get a character boost, which might
Yes.
put you past it. Yeah.
Yeah, they did that for the other ones, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to actually, if I wanted to do the Legion content, I need to buy the expansion still.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll still have to buy that one. I think for a little
Boo.
while,
Ooh.
and then they'll probably change it up.
So if I wanted to play it, I'd have to start a new character. That's not the worst.
No,
That's not the worst.
I'm leveling a new druid right now.
We could be
I'm having a
friends.
ton of fun actually. It's pretty fun.
I gotta be honest. This is the first expansion in like three expansions that I'm actually
Battle of
interested in.
Azeroth makes me think of old school Warcraft. Kind of
Yeah.
cool.
The the box art
Yeah, I know.
is exactly old
Yeah, it's
school
like,
Warcraft.
whoa.
I was like, nice. That
Yeah.
brings me back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I to be honest, I wasn't even interested in Mists of Pandaria. I thought it looked stupid.
I
played it
loved Mists of
because
Pandaria.
my friends were playing it, so I
Because
Yeah.
they were
got back
fat
into it.
pandas.
I thought it worked out really. It's the only time I ever worked so hard to grind rep that I got one of the cool mounts in the game. I loved that expansion so much.
Yeah, a lot of people liked it. I thought it was okay.
A lot of people didn't.
I
There were a specific group of people that liked it.
Yeah.
They were like,
I thought it was. I was in the middle. I thought
Yeah.
it was okay. I didn't think it was as good as the other ones.
I enjoyed it. Quite a bit.
I had fun. I didn't really want to buy it, but then everyone got back in it, so I did too. But this one, Legion looked interesting. Warlords looked interesting because it was Warcraft 2 stuff, but then I didn't care.
Warlords to me was
anymore.
more interesting than Legion. Legion to me has been
Oh, okay.
don't
That's-
like
it's
it.
good.
Excuse
It's a good,
you.
Yeah.
good descriptive word.
Yeah.
But this one looks cool because it's old school battle. Although I don't really care about PvP. I don't know.
I
might try
hate
it.
PvP. I'm sorry. I said my piece. Moving on. Next
Here's-
topic.
Next topic. Shut up. Next
Well,
topic.
I'm afraid. Okay, but I'm afraid of getting addicted to it again
Your eyeballs just got really big.
because I was straight up addicted to that game.
We all were.
And
I could stop.
I don't
when
even
want
wanna go on.
No,
I
no, I'm
can
still
stop
paying
whenever
for
I
it,
But you
but I'm
keep
not playing
going
this.
back.
Yes, but that's different than playing it all the time.
But you're
true.
paying even though you're not
I don't
playing.
even wanna know.
Well,
I mean-
because then I don't have to worry about doing it when I want to go
think-
play.
I think my
just go.
paladin's character was like a year's worth of game, so maybe more than that.
I put a lot of work into my
like a full
rogue,
365
and then
days
they
of
changed
on it.
rogues completely, and now I can't even play them anymore. So
Which I realize is that's all small beans. But
I liked Guild Wars.
I did not like
Two.
Guild Wars. I did not like Guild Wars.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
You don't know anything.
The whole time I was playing Guild Wars, I wished I was playing World of Warcraft.
Not the first one.
No, 2. That's number 2. I never played the first one.
Not factions, but Guild Wars 2. I like that one.
I didn't like
hey,
it.
Guild Wars was all right. The story was okay,
The
I thought it
human
was good.
storyline was garbage.
but
Garbage.
You need to be the
World of
the-
Warcraft.
the-
Are you telling me World of Warcraft story is any good?
No, Guild Wars 2's human storyline.
Oh,
Guild
okay.
Wars 2, I was a human.
Yeah,
Worst
so was
mistake.
I.
That storyline was awful. I was bored out of my mind. When I had to go to the circus, I was like, all right, this is stupid. This is just stupid. That's when I quit, right then.
They were
Someone
a
else
little weird
leveled my
about
character
that.
for me. That's how much
Yeah.
I didn't want to play. They're like, no, we got to get your character to 80 so you can do the dungeons with it. I was like,
You
okay.
got once
He
you
did
get
it.
past that stupid stuff, I didn't think it was that bad.
I like
It
doesn't-
I
the.
gave up right there.
I don't know what they were called, but the northern giant people. I like them.
Norn? Was it Norn?
Yeah, there you go. Norn. That makes sense. Yeah, I like them. I always played them. I think I played a couple of the plant things, and they were too.
Were they called Sylvans? Just like the
That's
guys from
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm pretty sure they were, weren't they?
Was it?
Probably.
So, it was something,
Yeah, I
something
think
like
they
that.
were.
Anyways, I like the Norn. They were fun, cause we were all like, kill everyone. We're like, that's great.
Yeah. I
The
started
plant
out-
people were like, let's investigate a tree.
I started out with it as a
I was
Norn
like, I don't
character.
care about
Look,
trees.
this tree grew. Okay.
I found that the Norn character had Tauren syndrome. The reason I don't want, I never played a Tauren, is because it feels like you're running really slow, because you're so big.
Oh.
I had the same
It's
problem with the
like-
Draenei.
The
was like,
the
yeah,
opposite to like the gnomes. I can't play them
Yeah.
because you're too close to the ground. You look like you're running like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Rah!
You like leap.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't mind the gnome, but yeah, I just felt so slow as the bigger characters, and I had the same thing with the Norn, so I switched it up and was human, but boring.
Right.
Mistake.
I didn't have to pay monthly for Guild Wars.
That
too.
was a-
and
that
I
was the
think
nice
that was
part.
the wonderful thing. But
'Cause
you,
you could
and you
just buy
still
it and
could
then
do
play it.
stuff, and you could be part of the big world events without having to actually group up.
I
with
thought
a
the
bunch of
dynamic
random
leveling
people.
in the
Yeah.
different zones was kind of
I like
interesting because
that.
it leveled you to what everyone else was in the zone.
Yeah. And,
So-
and Warcraft stole that. kind
Yes,
of,
they did.
in a way.
Kind
you know,
of.
You notice that?
Well, they
Well,
made
stole
all
it,
the mobs level like equal you.
Yes. The
That's a
scaling
little
is
bit
similar.
different. A little
Yeah.
bit different.
A little different, but
Well, you
similar
could be
idea.
everywhere in World of Warcraft, and that's the way it works now. Whereas in there, you had to be in certain areas to be certain levels.
Yeah, it was like a level area level thing.
The area, yeah. So that's a little different. But yes, they did. They did
I found
change
that those world events were they were good. They had pros and cons. The pros was that you could do that, just join in and have with the tank.
and
the
get
con
the
was
stuff from it.
a lot of the time there were so many people, you couldn't even tell what was happening.
That's true, and it would lag bad.
It was so bad, and if you had I had a pretty, really good computer when I was playing it, and it still lagged horribly because it was just too many people fighting a giant boss.
It's like doing a raid on World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it was better. I never had
Back
that
in
much
the
trouble.
day, raids in World of Warcraft were nasty.
Really, I
You were
never had
doing
that
a
much
40
trouble with
man.
raids.
Oh.
But with the
didn't
world events, World
do
versus
any.
World was the worst in Guild Wars, because everyone moved in this giant army pack, which makes sense. But anytime you got into a big army versus army battle, I had no idea what was going on. I was just swinging my sword over the best. I was I don't know if I'm hitting anything. And then I'm dead. It was real war.
I never did
basically
that.
real war. Yeah.
Yeah, I never
It
did
was very
that.
realistic.
I hated it. It was very realistic.
Yeah, I hate it. Very realistic. I like
I'm
it.
sorry. You guys like Guild Wars more than me. It wasn't.
No,
my
I
thing.
just-
No.
I
You're stretching a little
liked
bit
it.
far. It was okay, but
What
yeah.
I think for me, what I liked is I could go through and do things, and not have to always group up with 100 people. That's what I liked about it. Because actually, the part that I hated about World of Warcraft was to continue stories and all that kind of stuff. You had to group up with a bunch of people, and I don't trust people in that game whatsoever. The few times that I grouped up with people that I didn't know, they're all like, F you, healer. And I'm like,
Everyone always
F
blames the
you,
priest.
butt-faced. And it was really frustrating. And I was a good healer, so I was really upset about that.
It was always an interesting phenomenon because there was always the tank and the healer that got blamed for everything.
Well, you'd have this.
It's the DPS that was the problem.
You'd always
Come
have
on.
this tank that would rush on ahead,
Yeah.
and then the DPS are like, "Oh shit, we gotta keep up with them."
And then I'm
they
sitting
end
here
up dead, and
drinking.
she's trying to.
I'm
do
drinking.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, I have to have mana, guys.
Yeah.
Guys, hold on.
I need mana to heal you. Thanks
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, that was always really, really, really annoying.
That's why I always.
And then, but I would let them. Then, if what's his name ran off, well, y'all can die. That's fine. I'm back here. The mob won't come for me. So
Well, that's why
that's your problem.
I always most of the time. I really tried to run with a tank that I knew, the
right,
because
right.
I was a healer. The DPS
Yeah.
could be whoever, doesn't matter.
Well, typically when
But-
we were playing, we'd always have Kevin there to
Yeah.
tank, right?
Then you
So-
kind of
Yeah.
have once you have a rapport between the tank and the healer, it works a lot better because they know what to expect from each other. That kind
Yeah.
Of, but at Guild Wars threw that all out the window because you didn't really do it. There's no tanking or healing.
There's
you
no
just kinda ran in
tank or
circles.
healer. You just kind of do whatever. But it
I
was
also
a
didn't
different
like that.
gameplay.
I get the appeal, but at the same time, I'm like, this doesn't fit any structure that know how to work in a party, so I didn't really care. for
Guild Wars is always a little bit different that way. The original
Yeah.
Guild Wars is the same. There's no healer.
So in
Yeah.
conclusion, one of the main reasons I didn't like Guild Wars is because I missed World of Warcraft. Let's be honest. But so it's probably a lot better than I'm letting on. But that was my.
I mean,
opinion
after
of the-
Guild Wars, I went on to Final Fantasy 14, which is a excellent MMO. You got to play it.
I played it a little bit. I liked it, but then once we started doing those big raid things to go through the stories, and everybody does them for fun to get whatever the heck they want, and
Yeah, the problem is they got big story cutscenes in it, and they wouldn't wait for you to get.
They wouldn't
going,
wait
and
for
then
you to
you'd
go
get
through the
locked out of the
cutscene?
battle because you're
Yeah.
watching the cutscene.
Oh, Guild Wars had that too. Those
Oh,
cutscenes.
it's not nearly as bad as.
not
Final
as
Fantasy
bad as this,
14.
but it was really frustrating because then I would have to go online and watch the cutscenes to know what the heck happened, which I mean isn't a huge deal, but at the same time it's very annoying.
Well, you
because
want to
I
see
don't
it in
know
the
what's
moment. You
happen-
don't want to see
yeah.
it out of the moment.
I don't
It
know
takes
what's going,
away
and then
from it.
everybody there was no purpose for me because I was a healer. 'Cause that's just what I do. I like being the healer, but but in those things, there's 6 other healers, and all kinds of stuff, and you're literally not used. They don't need you there because everyone kills everything in 4 seconds. So I found it extremely boring and not. I just.
Like the other end of being blamed for everything, you just didn't matter, and you wanna
But I wanted to
help,
do something.
You want to have a useful function.
So
Yeah.
in the end, I had no use at that point, and that bored the crap out of me. So
Yeah.
that's
So far, when it
usually
comes
where I
down to it,
ended.
World of Warcraft still is the best balance when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have very well defined classes that you are and so on, and you know what your job is and whatever.
that's it. You need a job, otherwise you feel useless.
I mean, you know it in
There's
Final
no
Fantasy
point.
14 too, but it's just like you said, when you're doing those big things, it doesn't matter if one of the healers isn't doing their job or if one of the tanks isn't doing their job because
It doesn't matter.
it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So. It's like a rock rolling down a hill. It's an avalanche. It just keeps going and going and going. So.
Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent started by me.
That's
I
cool.
apologize.
I'm glad. I like tangents.
My main point there, of the tangent off the tangent, was that my tolerance for multiplayer, as I get older, I get crankier about it. I think is what's happening. I used to love playing multiplayer, and now I'm like, I'd rather. Can I play by myself sometimes? Because I like that. You know.
Yeah.
Part of it too is that like a lot of my friends don't have time. I don't have as much time. I have lots still, but it seems like we do pretty good.
But that's the other problem. Like
No
you
one to
just
play with.
as you get older. Sorry about world, but as you get a little bit older, everyone else has the rest of their lives to deal with. Nobody has time to play with you anymore.
Well, that's why we need more single player.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the single player. There's nothing wrong with single player, and there's nothing wrong with multiplayer, but like they're for different kinds of things, right?
Well, it's tons of fun. Like we've been having lots of fun, like I said, with Destiny 2.
Yeah.
It's not the best game in the world, but we've had lots of fun playing in a group.
Oh, it's
right?
been great.
It's been great playing in a
Right.
group.
It sucks single player.
It does. But we still haven't even got through the campaign because we don't have time.
Yeah, no. So we played it really good for a few days there, and then
Because you had a couple days off.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, but there we are.
So. Yeah.
So, what time of what we've been playing?
Are we out of news topics?
Yeah, we're done the news.
We're done with the news. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll start with you, I guess. We never start with you. We should start with you.
It's true. I just feel like I'm like the lead of the podcast, so I'd like to let everyone else go first. But all right, I have
this time the host is
I
going
have
first.
a ton of stuff I've been playing. So
Yeah, it's also because mine's boring because I think I said it all last time.
I guess, yeah.
And Cynthia's is just Dragon Age. Let's be honest.
Dragon Age. Pokemon Go. We catch your Pokemon on there. We know that. Duel Links playing some of that. Know that.
Yeah, that's not. Jeff said new stuff.
Oh right, of course.
That's
I doubt
World
this.
of Warships.
This
guys.
isn't it.
Uh,
I haven't played World of Warships in a few weeks.
Shock.
Although I do have the HMCS Haida.
You're very excited about that, yeah.
So excited about that.
It's cool that they're including us Canadians.
Yes.
In World of Warships.
Yes, please.
I mean, we only have like a couple destroyers, but like we're in now.
Well, we have one destroyer. We still have this destroyer.
Yes.
We
It's still
could
in
potentially fire this destroyer up, literally fire it up,
Set it on fire
set it on fire, and use it.
because it's the
It's
best one
got-
we've got.
It's got three
Still.
double turrets on it.
In conclusion, we
The
don't
rest
really have
of
a Navy.
all of our frigates only have one single turret.
I mean, sorry, we do have a Navy. People out there that are
We
in
do,
our Navy,
actually.
I respect the crap out of you.
We have,
It's just we don't have a lot of.
what's
Navy.
it, 12 or 14 frigates?
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of coastal defense ships. We
Which, to be
rely
fair-
a lot on our helicopters, actually.
Yeah, which to be fair is for our relative to our military is actually pretty good.
Well, some of ours are parked because we can't
Like, staff it?
staff them. So
See,
we have 3 subs as well.
I didn't even know we had subs. Awesome.
Oh, buddy, yeah,
Party
diesel
subs?
electric subs.
Sub-
3 of them, all 3 were out of commission for a while because they're all broken. So, but they're back working now.
awesome.
Yeah. We bought them for Britain because they didn't want them because they thought they sucked.
That's what we should get our stuff discount.
We
But-
got them to get rid of our old school Oberon classes, which were like 3 times the size of these things. They're
Not
ancient
subtle.
giant submarines.
Giant sub. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Subway Canada. Eat fresh.
I love ship stuff. All right,
Yeah,
shut up
I
about
actually
ship
do
stuff.
too, but it sounds like you're more of a
Oh, it's so cool.
even more of a ship nerd than me.
I don't know about that. You are a nautical nerd.
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm weird because I don't actually like going on ships, but I love
So
the concept.
that is weird because
of
if I got
tall
on a
ships.
ship, I want to be on the bridge. I want to see stuff.
I would love to, but I'm not. I never want to own a boat. I don't want to.
I'd love to own a boat.
See, I know you
a
would.
boat with the steering wheel
this
that
is
I
why
could
I'm
drive.
This is why I'm a nautical nerd, because I love like the tall ships, like the Aegis sail stuff. That's my.
Okay, see now that I care less about because that just
One of the
that
reasons
makes
I
you
liked-
think work.
One of the reasons I like Sea of Thieves so much was because it's one of the few games in that area, even though it wasn't really a game, it was just a run around thing, sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
But it was you're on a ship, and I'm like, this is cool. You got the big ship, oh, it's awesome. The water was amazing. That's the one thing that I'll give them credit for in that game. Their water was second to none.
Well, they've got to have something.
amazing.
It's got to be good water.
But
if
there was
you're-
no
if
game.
it's a
But it was
ship game.
amazing. Water though. They should take that water, copy paste that into other games.
Put it
like
into
actual
World
games.
of Warships.
Oh man. I mean, it would probably be.
I'd like to have more physics in World of Warships when it comes to that, like your ships rolling around and stuff. Like not just the way they do.
I mean,
but
they did. There's a trick. I learned there was like a trick they did with it, but it was still it was perfect.
yeah.
It's perfect. Anyway,
I've been
fanboy
playing.
over water. Anyway.
I played through a bunch of the first Evo Land RPG. Very
Evo
interesting. Yeah, it takes you through a bunch of different levels of how RPGs change throughout time, and you're playing but you're playing a game at the same time.
that's
So you start at like 2D, and eventually you get better and better graphics, better sound, better
That's a really
special
cool
effects, and keeps going and going. And then you get to 3D, and it's kind of neat.
Oh.
And you
Does
go
it,
through
like,
different
start you out
styles too. So
like-
you play like Final Fantasy style, then you kind of play like Zelda style, and then it just
Wow.
keeps going. It's kind
I
of
hadn't
neat.
even heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah, there's Evil Land 2, and I've had it for a while. I just haven't had a chance to play it, which is
So
another
it's
take on it.
Is that a recommend from you?
Yeah, I'd like it. I can't remember if it was free or if it cost a couple bucks on the phone, but that's where I was playing
On
Evil
phone,
Land. Game Dev Tycoon.
Oh,
This game doesn't deserve to be as good as it is.
it's not as good as it is,
And I don't think it is. Yeah, you're right.
It's a weird thing to say, but it's not
Now,
as good as it is.
on Android, it costs $4.50, and I paid for it before even trying it.
Yeah.
It is, I remember you talking about it, saying you liked it.
But,
You know, what the hell? Let's try it.
I like management games, and you don't. So I'm surprised you went for it. But
Well,
anyway.
I wanted something on my phone to play that I didn't have time to take out my Switch and turn it on and stuff.
right, something easy, and simple.
So it doesn't deserve to be as good as it is, but yet I went through the whole basic story of the game, and I'm still going.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like,
And you're right, though.
so
It's a management
simple.
game. It's a simple management game,
So
which is
simple.
why it's okay for me to play. If it was something any more in depth than what it is already, it's almost too in depth because there's other stuff you can do with it. But
Yeah.
I,
You know what? There's nothing
wouldn't-
wrong with that. I like some complicated management games, but to me, the best management games are the ones that you can that are like at their core simple, that you
Mhm.
can play through them and have fun with it without thinking too much.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons I like them. Like some of the ones I'm like, I like the puzzle ones too, but you got to be like, it's a different mindset and a lot rarer of a mindset. A lot of the time, I like the management games because I can just play them while I'm watching something or play them while I'm surfing the web or like
Yep.
it's a multitasking thing. I
Mhm.
can play it while doing something else.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons I like them so much.
Yep.
Which is perfect for game dev. I think I have like 40 hours or something in it, just playing.
Yeah, I don't have that
outside.
many hours on it, but I've done a lot on it. I don't know. One point you get to make your own console. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right?
That you could make your own MMO and maintain that if you want to. I didn't do that for very long because you'd basically have to continuously be making new new updates for it to keep it worth the money to it. I've been there's some pretty good. My best selling franchise. I had several of these. It's called Sportsing Hard.
Sports and hard, man.
Sportsing Hard.
It's funny because
1 through 5.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what something takes off, and you're just like, that's just everyone like builds
so-
on the hype. You know?
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
like bang.
that's like
Okay.
real. That's like real games. People get really into this one thing.
Yeah.
And they make sequels of it. And
Yep.
It's
Yep.
just it's done simply, but it's done very well.
Yep.
And it's very interesting.
Mhm.
Unlike, and this I'm kind of not to steal your thunder here, but something that I played recently is called YouTuber's Life. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I didn't want to play that at all because I hate YouTubers.
Well, here's the thing. I was like, I want something like Game Dev Tycoon, but I'm interested in something that's a different topic, like a different something else to manage. And so I saw this YouTuber's Life. I was like, it looks similar. They have the weird graphics and stuff, but it looks like a simple game that you build your own YouTube channel. You can do gaming. I think at the time there was only gaming, but now there's like other stuff. You can do cooking. You can do like whatever you want. Not as good. They didn't capture. Like it's almost too simple.
Yeah.
They tried to put like a social thing in it too, which doesn't work. Like it's bad. But like the actual like building videos is okay, but it's almost too simple. It's almost you're not interested in it as much. Whereas Game Dev Tycoon had this perfect balance between simple and interesting to do what you're doing. So they had a perfect balance with that. I've also tried a different game simulator called Mad Games Tycoon.
Oh yeah.
Which was more in depth. Like you could actually build your own office. You could buy equipment and make like design like Sims kind of style, design your own office.
Oh yeah.
That part was cool, but the actual like game development part, it tries to do too much too quickly, and it just doesn't gel as well. So I would love to see them take that formula and add more stuff to it. I think that would be cool.
One thing I wish, and I think I would have. Now that I know how to play the game a little bit better, the Game Dev Tycoon, I wish it started up a little faster.
It does start a little slow.
You're making like Atari level games, but you're making them forever. Mm-hmm. And then once you finally get your first game that takes off, and then you're finally doing something. Yeah. But it takes quite a while to get going. And I didn't get my first console out until the last year of the game.
Oh yeah.
In the story, and I know it's probably because I'm slow, but it's
I mean, if you're playing the other thing with that game, one of the things that I didn't like was that time still passes if you're not doing anything.
Yes, there needs to be a pause button,
and they get to actually hit like the menu to pause it.
Yeah.
Or click on something like bring up a menu to pause it.
Yeah.
Which I wish you could. It didn't do that so much, so you could play it a little more. Because like I've done that too, where I've wasted time because I'm like I said, I like to play it while I'm doing something else. Mm-hmm. So I get distracted by something else.
Yeah.
I waste time in the other game. So you got to be very careful with that. But because that can actually sink you, especially later when your money's a lot more volatile.
Oh yeah.
If you're not paying attention for like 5 seconds, especially with those MMOs. Because if those MMOs, if you don't bring out an expansion quick enough, you start costing you so much money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You gotta be really careful.
Yeah, yeah. But that's what I mean. Unless you're constantly doing a new patch or whatever for it, you're gonna screw yourself up. So after 2 years of running World of Warcraft.
You called it World of Warcraft?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know what else to call it, so I called it World of Warcraft. I took it off. I killed it because this costs way too much money. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, you almost have to kill it, or there comes a point where like you've done it reaches its logical end, and this doesn't happen to real World of Warcraft yet. But some MMOs, you're like, okay, it's starting to wind down. We should probably just shut her down. Or shut her down, but
if I continuously wanted to keep developing new updates for the game, then it would have been fine. But I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because it'd be the same thing over and over.
To me,
and over.
One of the parts I wish they would expand on was the part where you basically can become Valve, like build your own Steam platform.
I did that, but what do you do with it after that?
Well, it makes you money.
I don't remember making anything from it.
Oh, like you can actually. I think you have to. There's certain things you can do to make more money for you.
Oh.
From people selling your. But like, I wish they would expand more on that, so you could build your own platform.
Yeah, I would have liked that because it's like, oh, we researched. Oh, we could do that now, and that's the last you hear of it. You never see it anywhere.
And it's really fun. Like later stuff is like.
Because I figure if it's something like that, I should be making a ton of money off of it.
Because especially when you restart, you're going at the beginning, you have to go through a lot of stuff. It gets boring in the middle, kind of, if you've already done it. I kind of wish when you beat the game, or like when you finish the game's time limit, that you could play like a free mode that just started in the modern era. You can start out as an indie developer and keep going. That'd be great. But I don't know if I think that game's pretty old now, so I don't know.
I didn't realize how old it was. It's like 2012 or something.
Yeah, it's been around for
I didn't realize that.
Great game. If you're like killing a little time on the side.
Yeah, started playing Star Wars Heroes. I thought it was going to be more of an RPG and battles and stuff, but it's just the battles. But
just battles. Like one of those like grinder games.
Yeah, a bit. It's fun. The best thing about Star Wars games is that they always have all the good music and the real sound effects and all that stuff from the movies, so it always feels great playing a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
But I will say, okay, so good things about the game. I never feel like I have to go and buy anything to continue, although you know all the time that if you did, you would have a better advantage. to continue in the game.
Mhm.
I'm just playing with everything the game's given me. And I've been doing Final a little recently. I'm starting to hit a little bit harder stuff. But you can go back and replay stuff to get stronger. But anyway, it's interesting. The graphics are kind of good for a phone game.
Mhm.
And everything we've been talking about except for World Warships and stuff. That's all, I've been doing it all on my phone. So
Yep. On the road.
on the road, yep. As for the Switch,
Your other mobile platform.
first things first, I bought a 6,500 hour milliamp battery add-on for the thing that'll charge it on the fly, so I don't always have to have it plugged in,
Awesome.
which is great. Octopath Traveler.
That's the new hotness for the Switch, I've heard. Squeenix.
I can totally
hotness.
understand why.
Yeah.
So it's all 3D except for your 2D sprites. Incredible music. I would say the graphics are a little bit bland, at least so far where I've been, because
really?
it's been a lot of browns and stuff.
Yeah, the colors aren't. I've seen a little bit of video. I haven't played it, but yeah, the colors don't look that standoutish. But the monster design, I don't know if you're going to get into this or not, just to cut you off here rudely. What I saw, like the monsters look really cool.
Yeah,
the
they're
sprites and stuff?
2D drawn sprites. They don't have any animation really.
No, but I don't think they look cool. to me.
They look cool. It's weird though because when you're fighting bosses and they're like, when you're on the main, just on the regular overworld like area, the boss is just a sprite like you, but then you get into a battle with him or something, and he's this giant guy, and you're still just a little sprite. That's weak to me. I actually wish you had detailed sprites when you were in the battle. You don't have that in this game.
Oh.
But it makes up for it. The battle system is awesome. I don't know how else to explain it. It's an active battle system, sort of like Final Fantasy X. Actually, very close to Final Fantasy X. You can charge up over time. I got charges. I don't know what they call them, but I just call them charges. And then when you have up to 3 charges, you can attack 5 times on that turn with your attack, or it charges up some of your special abilities to do more damage. So that's something unique. I haven't seen that in anything else that I can think of. What else? Said the music is great. Battle system is a lot of fun. The different stories, the way you start, you got 8 characters that you're supposed to meet throughout the game. I've gotten 3. I've just met the 4th one now. I've gotten 3 so far. I started with the warrior guy, and I'm just sort of making my way around the map, getting everybody else. You find the next person, then you do sort of their introduction, and then they join your team, and then you got a big battle that you have to do to help them with their end of their mission, or the end of their story, and then you go off and do the next one, and so on and so on. So it's got a pattern that way, but it works. The bosses are tough, especially until you realize that you can use your charges to do more than 1 or 2 extra hits with your attack, because I didn't realize that. The enemies are like Final Fantasy 13, where you have to break their defenses to do a lot more damage to them. So every enemy is weak to certain weapons and certain magical moves and so on. And they could be like they'll have a little shield there. It has like a number 7 or something there. So it takes like 7 hits from any of those weaknesses to finally knock their defenses down, so you can do about double the damage. And that's how you have to take them out. So it can get a little hard. The bosses always have little mobs with them, so they're always continuously attacking you as well. So it can get a little hectic. Like the first boss battle I had, I genuinely, I was really, really nervous I was going to be able to do it. And I didn't realize at the time that you could do those multiple hits at a time.
Oh.
So I don't know if I'm still making it sound interesting or not, but it's pretty fun. It's a good game. It's worth the money.
That's again not my typical game. Usually the classic Final Fantasy style RPG kind of thing, but I mean it looks.
I would
cool.
say the battle system would work very similar to Persona's.
Is it?
Yeah, I would say it's like.
To be fair, Persona's not usually my typical game either, but I love it. So
yeah. But this is your traditional RPG.
Yeah. I mean, the appeal though was the main thing was the 8 paths or whatever, right? Like the 8 characters.
Yeah,
Which
and you
one
can
did you
start
pick?
with any of them. Like, so you can start with any of those characters. I just chose the warrior guy because I figured, well, warrior,
Yeah.
big sword, kill things.
His
So
name's
then in the
Cloud.
story, are you, however you start it, you still go through everything of everyone's stories, and that's kind
As
of
far
it?
as I can tell, yeah.
Is there
I
an
don't know what.
overarching story?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm assuming as we go through, we're going to see something where all of these stories start to connect, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Because I hope so. Otherwise, it just would be weird. Like, there needs to be.
Well, there's
got to
be something that ties it all together. There's got to be
be.
something that ties it all together. I will say, don't get too curious at the beginning. If you see a cave, unless you know you're supposed to go in there, don't go in there.
Oh, not an
Yes,
Explorer game.
Death Cave.
Okay. Very much
I went into the first cave that I found because, oh, look, a cave. Can't be that bad.
I did the same thing with the.
I got one-hitted with like 6,000 damage.
Oh,
And your characters start with like 200. So
I did the same thing with Persona and the Reaper in the box. I was like, this says not to do it, but like, how bad could? And I was dead.
yeah,
I was, oh, that bad.
it's bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I wasn't ready for that one.
yeah. No, I've been that game's been pretty good. Been playing Skyforce Reloaded still, which is that shooter game we talked about a while back. I also picked up Ikaruga, which is a it's like the bullet hell shooter thing, where there's just like bullets everywhere and you're trying to avoid them.
Yeah.
I'm stuck at it, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And Banner Saga.
Banner Saga. I
Uh,
actually started that. Never got through it, but
Cynthia, you would really like it.
I feel like I've heard
actually
of
read-
Banner Saga
I
before.
think you need to play it.
I have it
actually.
on Steam Library if you want to play it. I think I have the first and the second one. I don't think I have the third. Did the third one come out yet? Or is it still...
No, I think it's just the 2 right now.
Maybe
I've only got
they
the
might
first
have
one,
Kickstarted the third one. I don't know.
but it's all hand-drawn animation, and it's tactics
story.
very much like Final Fantasy Tactics. There's voiceovers, not all the way through, so I make my own voiceovers up because I can.
But
Yeah,
it's a
right.
very. I've played a little bit of it. It's a very story heavy from what I can tell.
It is, but the battle system is very good.
Well, once I finish all my Dragon Ages,
You're on 2.
I'm on 2 right now.
Well,
Going back
skip
into the-
3 and go to
No, no,
Banner
no,
Saga.
no. Inquisition's an important
Well, then
part.
It's her
skip
favorite
this one and go to.
Like if
No,
you had the
no,
choice, you would have probably. Well, I mean, you always.
I
have
would
the
have
choice,
started
but
with Inquisition.
You want to start with Inquisition. I convinced
But
you
I
to start
wanted
from
to do the
beginning.
whole thing because you
Yeah.
were like, you should do a different world. And I was like, yeah, I should do a different world.
But you didn't.
Slightly. They're a little bit,
A little
little.
different. You played as a mage instead of a
Yeah.
rogue or whatever.
Yeah. And I made Alistair King instead of running off with him.
Right.
He broke up with me. He's a dick. I hate him. So. Yeah.
Worst character.
I don't
ever.
even understand why you guys like those games.
Oh, it's great.
You don't.
It's story heavy.
They're like Mass Effect in the past.
Yeah,
Magic.
but they suck.
Yeah. What?
What?
You're dumb.
No, you are.
No.
you.
You.
I'm not even part of that, apparently. No, you. No, you. No.
I also over Prime Day, I was waiting. I knew there had to be an Xbox deal coming because
Dun,
a bunch of the Xboxes disappeared just before Prime Day. And I'm like, all right, so I'm watching. Finally, and me and you were talking like, I can't even get on to the Prime thing
Yeah,
because
well,
it's broken.
Prime Day, yeah, you couldn't even get on in the beginning.
Apparently, everything was broken that day. Not just Amazon's website, AWS and everything was down.
Really?
It was all crashed. Yep. So they had a really bad day.
They were like, guys, Prime Day. Everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
they,
real.
exploded.
Even AWS crashed, which is pretty
They
impressive.
accidentally DDoSed themselves. But
So, so I finally they got everything up and running. We were able to look at stuff and like, this is all junk. And then finally, 1 terabyte Xbox One S popped up with the 3-month Game Pass and 3-month Xbox Live and Rare Replay, which I gave to you guys because I already have it.
although I don't know
For $2.99.
Yeah.
which is
That's a good deal.
not only $80 off the regular price. You also got a game with it, which is like $30 game. But
Yeah, and you got extra Game Pass,
yeah.
like 4 months of it, or whatever you said.
Well, 3 months.
3
months of it.
3
Yeah.
months of it.
Yeah, because
I
that's
only got one with my One X when I bought it. So
well, that's the specific thing. Otherwise,
Yeah.
with the other Xbox One S bundles, you get other games.
although I also got PUBG with mine, which I never ever catch because PUBG is not my thing. But anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, so one 1 terabyte Xbox for $299.
that's a good. That's a good deal. So you got a Forza machine.
Yeah, actually, I do.
You got a new
Yeah.
Forza machine.
Although I think they fixed the problem that they've been having.
Oh,
with
really?
The
They
other thing,
finally fixed
because
it.
it seems to be working every time I boot it up.
That still needs work though. That the Xbox app for PC is like, I love that you have it, Microsoft, but it needs a little TLC, man.
Well, it's not the Xbox app, so it's the store that
Well,
screws that up.
because what happens is the Xbox app tries to like interface with the store, and that store is awful to begin with. Let's be honest. But then the jump from the Xbox app to the store is even worse somehow.
I don't even have the
Xbox
Xbox app. I don't know what you're talking about. I never used the Xbox.
Oh, you don't have the app?
Well, I probably have it. I don't use it.
Oh,
Not
if you
on
try
not
if you
on
try
my
to buy
computer.
something, it does like this
I have it
stupid-
on my phone.
like stupid activation thing between the two. It's maybe they fixed it.
I've
since
never
we played,
used
but-
it. It's always been that it deauthenticates itself on the store, and then it says
Yeah.
my game install is deauthenticated. But instead of re-authenticating it when I re-authenticate myself in the store, it still says, no, this game is dumb. You have to re-download it.
which is
So
like an 80 gig.
that,
or
as
whatever.
I told you, it's 96 gigabytes for Forza 7,
Jeez.
and it's 54 or 56 for Horizon 3.
So you spend get the 150 gigs of downloads to.
We got a quick connection, and it'll download overnight.
Yeah.
But that means I can't play it when I want to play it,
Right.
which really sucks. So
They
now I
fixed
got it on my Xbox, and I should never have that problem.
Yeah. But you don't. Yeah. You don't really need the super high end hardware to play like Forza. For some
I would
reason.
like to. I would like to say the new Xbox controller is really nice.
I love it. the
It's
new
got
one.
grip on it and stuff.
So much
really
better.
nice.
And I love the old one. So
Yeah, I liked it too. And you know, this is deceptively heavy. This console. I didn't realize how heavy it was going to be, but it's nice that it's got the power supply integrated, because those power bricks are stupid.
yeah,
Sony hasn't had them forever,
I know.
and yet
The
Microsoft
original
insisted
one did.
on keep doing
The One
that.
X doesn't have it either.
Yeah,
It's a direct
yeah,
plug-in.
yeah. And the One X is technically a little smaller.
It is
So,
smaller,
yeah,
yeah.
that's wicked.
It's
That's
got
crazy.
A super awesome APU in there.
Crazy to think about. But yeah, so I'm really happy with this thing. What else? I think that's pretty well all of the gaming. That's
Yep.
a lot of gaming. I
A
did
lot
pick
of
up an Elgato HD60 for S for streaming. So
Is the
it
S for
streams really
streaming?
well, but I can't get the sound to work still.
Really, the sound's still not working. 'Cause
Still-
you tried streaming
My
us playing
computer,
Destiny, right?
that computer down there, the Intel one,
Yeah.
for some reason will not send out anything over HDMI except for video.
Mm,
So I
That's
got to work
annoying.
that out. I don't know what's going on.
that's really annoying.
It's really annoying because right now I've got it hacked, sort of, that I'm running it through an audio jack on there into my soundboard, which is being fed into my other computer.
Oh,
But it's getting only like a single channel of audio, and it's not the correct channel. It's not getting like center audio or anything. It's just getting like sound effect audio. It's really weird.
oh.
So you're driving
Yeah,
down
we
the
do
road,
that.
you're like, your engine's supposed to be revving you and stuff. All you're hearing is like wind blasting your face. Like,
That's similar
not
to the
right.
problem we have with our sound system because the center speaker stopped
Yeah.
working.
Oh, really?
So then a lot of stuff it tries to do like the Dolby surround,
Uh-huh.
and then so you get
Well, the center
so you
speaker,
all
you
the
don't get
sound.
any- you don't get
no
any talking.
dialogue.
Yeah.
So it's just silent dialogue,
Yeah.
and you just hear all the noise around.
Yeah.
So we're running stereo now, and I'm not sure.
Is it really, really broken?
I don't know if it's the speaker or the output. I got to test it. I just haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
Not that you need. I mean, I just
If you need
running,
new wire or something, I have some.
Well, I
you can
got
use.
plenty of wires because it's got the whole surround system.
Yeah.
But I'm only using the 3 speakers and the sub. 'Cause
Gross.
there's not. I mean, I could run it around, I guess, but I don't know. I just wanted better sound. I didn't really need surround. But and the only other problem we've had with that is the. I think the TV's stupid. It's not a very smart
Sure.
TV.
No.
So, or maybe it's the receiver. I don't know. I gotta figure this out because what happens is I have everything. So I have like my Xbox and the PS TV are plugged into the receiver, and that sends HDMI out to the TV, right? And that's how you get, and it works great. But then if you try to run Netflix on the TV, I have an optical cable run to the receiver. But the only way you can,
HDCP is getting screwed up or something.
the only way you can get sound to come from Netflix is if you unplug the HDMI that comes from the receiver to the TV. Otherwise, it will not send audio to the receiver.
HDCP is getting in the way then somewhere.
I'm guessing. I just don't know how. I don't know if there's a way to disable it
Because
somewhere.
that's what it does. HDCP is like, oh, you want to do something on the analog side with the HDMI? Well, I'm turning your audio off.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a way to there's no way to switch it that I can tell from the receiver. So I think maybe the receivers. Neither of them are particularly new smart devices. They're both
Well,
a little old.
that receiver is
Yeah.
not smart either,
It's not
but it
smart
doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So,
But this is quite a bit newer than my receiver though. I think my receiver is
well,
2000.
it's newer to buy. They don't make it anymore. They haven't
they
made
don't?
it for years. It's just stock that's been around for a while.
I got an Onkyo one that was from 2012, I think.
Yeah, no, this is probably newer.
I
than
didn't
that,
buy
but-
it till like 2013, 12. Yeah, I don't remember. It's a few years old now, but yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know if it's got ARC. I could try using ARC, HDMI ARC, but I have to figure that out. Anyway, it's really annoying. 'Cause I have to go over. No, I can't turn on my PS TV remotely anyways with that controller. So I have to.
Why?
I don't know. It doesn't work. I have to turn it on physically. Have to walk over and push the button, and then it works. Don't know what's up with that either.
Okay.
So I have to go there anyways. So I just plug it in, turn it on. But then sometimes it won't come up with video. Like so sometimes I turn it on my PlayStation TV. Like Xbox is fine. I push the button on the Xbox. Away we go. Receiver's like, oh, input, and then it switches automatically. Your TV's on. Boom.
Can
You
I
just
say what they've done with the UI on the Xbox now, the new one,
Yeah.
doesn't suck?
No, it actually doesn't suck.
Doesn't suck.
Yeah, I like it.
Like, they finally understood,
easy.
oh, look, we want something easy to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're trying to get to certain stuff, it might be easy, but like if you have especially if you have a physical copy of a game, or you've played it recently, it's just right there.
Yeah.
Like, nice. Like that's
Yeah.
all I need.
Thanks. Didn't
Game.
bury it under
Thank
a
you.
bunch of different menus. Thank you very much, sir.
Go.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Yeah.
you've only been playing Dragon Age?
Yes.
Oh.
So I've been playing Dragon Age. That's
two.
it.
That's too
Two,
bad.
because they moved on. Well, no, because we didn't have internet for a couple of weeks, so I downloaded
And you're still here.
Dragon
Good
Age.
job.
And,
Yeah.
well,
Actually, it wasn't as bad because we downloaded a bunch of stuff beforehand.
yeah,
So it wasn't as bad as we thought.
you're getting to your breaking point. I think near the
I
end.
beat all the games that I
That
had.
he
I was like, I
had.
need more. Give me more.
So no, I was playing Dragon Age, and then I've been watching Dan go through Persona 4, and
Hey,
that's
4G.
Yeah, Golden,
Golden.
and that's a lot of fun. It's different from Persona 5, but the same, so it's weird.
They've all got distinct feels, although I think Persona 5 definitely takes it to another level compared
Persona
to the
5
earlier
just
ones.
hits you in the face with it, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I was telling you this earlier, but I'm thinking if I had played Persona 4 first, a lot of the like quality of life stuff wouldn't bother me. But playing Persona 5 first and then playing Persona 4, I'm like, there's a few things, especially in the like combat. I'm like, I really miss certain things.
Yeah.
Really, 'cause
Even
I
just-
really
even
like the
just-
battle
even
system
just
on
as-
4.
Oh, it's great, but like some of the stuff, like even the animations and like
Oh, yeah?
some of
Oh.
the interface is just not as nice.
If it's that much better on 5, I mean, it'll
Oh,
probably blow
5
my
is great.
mind. when
Well,
I'm
it's
playing
just it's smoother, and it's not apologetic in any way about anything. And I think that's the difference. We saw something that they took a really good game. Like Persona 4 is still really, really good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, it is. It's really
But they took it and they really cleaned it and they pushed it and made the graphics bigger, bolder. Would you
You
say?
have
Yeah.
to.
It is. I mean, it is like 10 years.
I was
Yeah,
just going to
it
say,
is 10
Persona
years.
4 came out on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if that came out on the PlayStation 2, that must have been. How did we miss that game?
I don't know.
Because
Because
I didn't have a PS2, so that's,
We were-
I mean, that's an easy excuse for me.
We
Right?
didn't hear
Easily.
it. We heard about, I think back in the day, we heard about like Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
We heard about that, but we're always like, what the heck is that? And we never got into that, and certainly never heard of Persona 4
No.
or 3. Which,
Like, because 3 was on the PS2 as well, right?
yes. Yep. Then the first two were on the PlayStation.
But like,
Or actually, I
seriously,
think one was on the PlayStation. Might have been
One was
another
like
one was like Super Nintendo
Super
or something.
Nintendo,
Yeah.
yeah.
But man, like it's just putting that next to like the Final Fantasies that we played at the time, and that, I mean, that would have been right there. Like I would have.
Oh yeah, it would have been.
I
all
would have
over
killed
that.
that game.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome. So I'm kind of sad. But you know what? The thing is though, even though there's 10 years difference between the two of them, they still are great. And
Well, they both follow the same formula still, which is good because
Yeah.
that's what
It's a
makes
good
this game
formula.
works.
Yeah.
Work, right. But
The Persona, I even some certain like some of the characters in Persona 4 are amazing. I think they're better than other characters in P5. Oh, P5 had great characters too, but the gameplay itself, like monster variation is huge, because like you don't actually fight like in P5 you fight all the personas, which is a widely varying group of personas, whereas in this it's not like it's the same monsters over and over again kind of thing. So like their design, I'm like that's a minor thing, but I'm like,
no,
I kind
but
of wish
I
it
see
was more
how that is.
varied.
Yeah, because that was something that added, the variation to it, because we're still fighting different colors of those stupid hand things.
Oh,
Those hand
those
gloves.
stupid hands that keep running away. Get back here, stupid hands.
yeah, they're worth it to get.
I know.
though.
I have to
I know,
chase them
but
across
I'm
the
saying
world,
like
but
it's
yeah.
the same. Like each different, it's not castles in this one, whatever. Each different, whatever
Dungeon,
dungeon, I guess, that you go into, there's maybe 4 or 5 monsters in there, but a lot of them also are variation, like different colors of the different ones. So that is kind of something that we missed, because you got to really fight
It's
all the
quite
different
varied.
personas.
And the mechanic, like there's certain mechanics in the P4 dungeons, but in 5 they really took that to the next level.
yes.
Like there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. There's a sneaking thing too, the stealth thing, which is
I'll be honest with you, that doesn't interest me.
it normally doesn't interest me, but I find it more interesting than
Evelyn likes it.
than
I don't-
the way they've done the advantages in P4.
See, that was fine with me, but I played the game pretty casually, so I don't
Well,
need anything super in depth.
No, me neither, and that's fine. It's nice because I'm not usually a proponent of stealth because I'm not a big stealth guy.
Yeah.
But in that game, the advantages are kind of random, whereas in P5, if you do the stealth correctly, you get an advantage. Whereas if you
I
screw
didn't
it
find
up,
it
you
that
don't.
random on P4. I was pretty good at
Well,
doing
it's-
that.
Yeah, I mean
But-
it's not like you can. It's similar, but like it's still chance based. So you can get them in the back, and it's still only a chance to get an advantage, or if you get hit, there's only a chance to get a disadvantage. Whereas if in
It wasn't
P5,
for me, so I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know how
Really?
it's working for you, but it
because like
wasn't for
sometimes
me.
you'll sneak up on a guy and hit him,
Yeah,
and you don't
in-
get an advantage.
Oh,
And sometimes you get
Well,
you'll-
if he's
you'll get hit in
facing
the
towards
face.
you, that's true. But
Yes.
if he's away from you, which is the way I always attacked him,
Yes.
or at least or else I ran away from him. That's the only way I did it. So
But
I always got the advantage when I was doing it.
I think what Dan was getting at was that in the 5th one, it's way easier to get
I understand.
the
No,
advantage.
I understand. Yeah, that's
And if you
Because
mess up,
of
you
that
know you've
hiding.
messed up,
Yep.
and you get like
Yeah, because of that hiding aspect, it actually
you know what it
makes
is though.
it really easy.
Part of the problem is I think it's probably has something to do with me playing on the TV, the PS TV, rather than an actual Vita. Is the camera angles are messed up, so it's hard to tell sometimes what direction I'm hitting them. Maybe that's what's happening.
That's I don't understand why it'd make a difference going from screen to screen, but that could be. I've just
Well,
I
it
have no
doesn't
idea.
scale perfectly.
Yeah.
Like I have a bit of a black edge, and it's a bit weird. I have to show you.
It's a little
It looks like
wide.
it's a little wonky. The scaling is a bit
Right.
odd, but it works perfectly fine. But yeah, like the whole and the mechanics of the dungeon is kind of the main point there. Like certain dungeons have certain things that happen, and in Persona 5 it was like the dungeon's based around these interesting things that you have to do to get past stuff, and it was a little more interesting to me. And this,
Okay.
a lot of stuff is like just stuff that's a logical step 10 years later,
Yeah.
and that's probably so. It's not like
And
these are
that's-
things I'm not
that's what it sounds
criticizing
like, yeah.
for, to be honest. I'm just saying this is these you can really tell going back these little quality of life things that are like really nice in 5.
Yeah.
The story in 4 right now is awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't got to the good part yet. I'm assuming.
You're nowhere
Probably
near the
not.
good part yet.
Because 5 was same idea with 5 though. It started out good, and then it turned the dial up to like 11.
Well, it's
Like, it was-
going to do that.
Oof.
It's going
It
to
was
do that
amazing
in
after that.
October or November for you guys.
So it hits you in the face.
It's
No, it's
stunning.
this will smack you right in
These
the
guys
face
know how to
too.
tell
It's
a
like-
story. Is all I'm
It's
saying.
like you got okay. This is an interesting story, and I was like,
yeah.
punch in the face.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So,
So I'm looking forward to it,
I
but
really like it.
it's really good, and it's a lot of fun. I think
We're
we're
having
about,
such a great
I'm about
time.
40 hours in, right at this 40-hour mark.
The one
Somewhere
thing that
there.
I have to say about the Personas is what really amazes me, and I really hope parents don't let younger people play it just because there's teenagers in the game, because like there is some messed up crap in there,
there's
Yeah.
and you're just like, what?
There's a reason
This-
it's rated M.
and
is
you
all I'm saying.
remember this is an adult game, but in P4,
it's funky though too because you're playing younger kids and
You're
they
playing
act
as a
like
kid.
younger kids.
You're playing as kids,
but
that
it's a
couldn't play
mature
the
game.
Yeah.
it's-
They wouldn't be old
a little
enough to
weird.
actually play the game.
Yeah.
and they're
technically.
going through all of that,
Yeah.
and you're like, you guys are gonna be scarred for life.
Well, there is that one monster I saw in yours on
Yes.
on P5. Well, that's my game, but I saw it when you were playing.
Yeah.
The male anatomy monster.
Yes.
Yeah, it was blatantly
Blat-
male anatomy.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Which is also in this game, by the way, because I looked up the fusion calculator to see what I could, and yeah, he's in there.
Okay, I no, actually, I think I remember seeing
The
him.
difference
but
is
I
you
just-
won't see him because unless you actually fuse to him.
Oh, okay.
Because
All right, fair enough.
in
Yeah.
P5,
All right.
he could be a wild monster, whereas
Okay.
in P4 he wouldn't be. But
Yeah.
anyway. So that's what most of my time been in, personally.
It was very blatant.
Yeah.
No, but like in P4, like the first, like when you press start to start a new game, it starts off with like Rize, and you're just a picture
Wow.
of her boobs.
Okay, that's just Japanese though.
No, I know, but I first saw that and I was like, okay, they've set a
That's
tone.
just
Okay,
Japan. If
Japan.
you've
All
seen,
right, Japan.
if you've seen any anime, that's the kind of shit you see in.
I know, but like it just started off that way, and I was like, all
It was
right.
very anime to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But which I mean, even the dungeons are pretty Japanese.
everything.
It's very
it's
Japanese humor.
that's the
It's
kind
so-
of the fun thing about it. It's very unapologetically Japanese.
And well, that's kind of thing. It's a different culture kind of game too, which is interesting in its own way. Although, yeah,
I
That's,
do,
that's how I feel like Final Fantasy. We lose so much when it gets localized because you know the conversations that happen in the Japanese version are different.
yeah.
So it's
I'm sure there's some of that too in the Persona games, but for the
there's
most part,
very very
it's
little
pretty
changed.
Japanese, yeah.
Most of it is pretty well direct translation.
even like the questions in school where it's like some of that stuff. Where they
Well, yeah,
ask
you
that
like you don't.
question.
I don't know the answer to that. What?
Yeah,
what?
I have the
So
good-
I look it up
some
too.
of
and
this-
so-
I've actually I've found more of these answers in Persona 4. I've actually known,
yes.
which I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh,
It's actually
interesting,
good trivia.
okay.
But then there's a lot of stuff that's like Japanese translations of certain Japanese books. I'm like, how are you supposed to know that unless you're Japanese? Like,
yeah, yeah.
and they're like, which Japanese character did they use for this?
yeah.
And then they show you like 3 Japanese characters, and we're like,
And so blah 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 blah
I
blah
actually
blah
knew
blah
that
blah
one
blah
because they
blah
talked
blah.
about it earlier.
yeah, but I was just like,
Because
what?
they talked about the dot on top, and only one of them had a dot on top. So I was like,
Yeah.
it's got to be that one. But I don't know what it means, but it's got to be that one.
But no, it's really good. It's
That's a
really
really good game. And that's absorbed all of my free time pretty much.
I know.
I did play some of that Hero U game we talked about last time, which is about what I had hoped it would be. Although, I don't know if I said this last time either, but they did. They took away some of the point and click aspects, and it's all done in text instead of like text choices instead of actual like using items on different things. So I was a
Sounds
bit
like more
disappointed,
work. Yeah.
but it's about what it's good so far. We'll see how far I get, but it's got all the dad jokes, just like I was hoping for. They love their puns. It's like everything's a pun. It's awesome. I got beat up by a guy that knows Bunny Foo. Great
Bunny
game.
Foo.
Bunny Foo, yeah.
All right.
Great game. That's all I'm saying. But that's about it for.
So that's you've been playing Dragon Age, you've been playing Persona and stuff.
Yeah.
That's about it. Eh?
I'm trying to think if I played anything else recently. I did try out some Warframe, since that's all the rage these days.
Why?
It's like third-person Destiny, but
Sucks. The enemies are crap
it's
looking.
weird.
Um,
Yeah, I mean it's free to play.
yeah,
which is
for
nice.
free to play, it's okay, I guess.
Yeah. I'll be
But-
honest, I started playing because I got some.
Because
free
I
Twitch
wouldn't
Prime loot.
buy that game.
I don't know. It's one of those people get really into it, and I'm trying to figure out like if it's something that you have to keep pushing through to get into, or it didn't grab me immediately, but
I can't find anything positive about that
you really
game.
didn't like it.
No.
I mean, I played a few. I've only played like 3
So-
missions, but
Okay, I should say I kind of like the guy that I chose because he can have an arrow a bow and
Oh,
arrow.
I have the bow and arrow too. Yeah, it's great.
I thought that was kind of different.
Like,
But
I have a bow and a staff. And I hit people with the staff.
yeah,
It's
no, I
kind
think
of
I
an
did.
interesting play
I have the
style.
same thing. I thought, well, that's kind of different, but that means you can kind of go silently through some of this stuff. But
Yeah.
graphically, I had a really hard time with it. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you can pump
I mean,
that
it's
up
not
to
bad.
whatever level you want, and it's not going to look
It's-
good.
The style you mean? Like it doesn't. Like graphically, like there's got good colors and like it's not horrible design or anything. It's just is it the style of the?
Oh, I think the character design is shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't like it at all.
Oh.
But that's obviously that's a personal thing. I don't
Not a
like
fan.
the enemy design, especially. I did not like it.
It is weird, very weird. But I think that's the point. The
Yeah,
design
but
is
I've seen
odd.
weird before,
Yeah.
but it doesn't look bad.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That just looked bad to me.
Mm.
Like it looked like somebody's like, all right, we need a weird enemy. Somebody draw something that looks weird. All right,
Done.
that's not weird enough. That's not weird enough. A bolt coming out of the guy's neck, that's weird. Put that on there. So, no.
Not your thing.
No.
I did suggest it because I had heard about it as like the.
No, you did. And
It's
I'm glad you suggested it because it's a good thing we tried it. But I ended
don't
up buying the
like
game.
I uninstalled it. I could be honest with you.
I did the same
It's
thing.
not. I didn't
I-
draw me in. So.
And so, long story short, we bought Destiny 2 for Kevin.
And yeah, then we decided to play that instead.
And then we tried to play together, and that stupid person limit on the server
Yeah,
foiled
full
us.
circle, man. Full circle. Did we play anything else? No. I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Persona's one of those games that just draws you in, and that's all you play for like a month. So
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
no,
Get your
no,
money's
it's
worth
not.
out
I
of
like I like when you can get into a game.
You're really getting your money's worth out of it. I mean, I guess
Well,
you had to buy the TV thing,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I got a lot better mileage or money, bang for buck out of Persona 5 since I just borrowed your console and
Yeah.
your game.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I almost ordered another Persona 5. So I'm like, I still want to play this game. If I can't find it,
oh,
I've got to have it.
you
Good
got
thing
the
I
cool
did.
Steelbook edition and everything. That'd be.
Yeah, no, we got her now.
You know,
but-
speaking of that, you didn't say anything about your newest game there.
Oh yeah, I guess it's not something new that I've really got. But
No, well, it's,
I picked up Sonic Mania for the PlayStation 4 and for Switch.
again,
Yes.
the second time.
So this time you get this lovely
It's a Mania-
fancy cover.
Mania
It's
Plus.
got two new characters that you can play called Ray and what's the other guy's name?
Mighty, I think.
Mighty. Ray is a flying squirrel.
Okay. We have a flying
And-
thing already.
Yeah, well, this guy, all he does is float and fly, whereas Knuckles can climb things and glide. And then you've got Mighty, or whatever. He can do the drop-down smash things that Sonic can do now. So, but that's all he can do, so they've just got one ability from both the guys. Anyway. Don't really care for the new guys. Mighty's kind of interesting. I don't really care for Ray. But it does come with a cool art book.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a little art book thing. So it's kind of cool. You can see all the different concept art they
Remember
got.
games
Like,
used to always do that.
Yeah.
there's
Now you have
there's
to get
like
it in collector's edition,
the
and
what
then
they
knock
went
it
through
again.
designing the logo and stuff, which is kind of cool. I find interesting.
Mm.
So I like making stuff like that. But just all the different concepts for characters and levels and stuff, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. And then as a nice little touch, is the Switch one out here? No, no. You can. The cover is reversible to make it look like a Sega Genesis cartridge box. So
That's cool.
but what I really appreciate is that the actual physical game is in here. So the original release only had a code. It came with all this other stuff,
Yeah.
but you only got a code for the game. Now we actually have physical releases. And I bought them both because I want them to keep making these games. Because this is what Sonic should be. 2D,
Sonic Forces.
fast, great music. Just, it's a really good game.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm glad I got him. So, yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
So
We blathered for a while about games.
we did. We actually this is supposed to be a short podcast, and it's actually the longest podcast we've done in a long time.
Oh.
So, woohoo!
We ranted. Sorry about the ranting. Or maybe, well, we babbled. I guess
We did, but we did babble.
Yeah.
So if you want to listen to more of these podcasts or check out some of our content, you can go to redbluegreen.ca.
There's usually more tech.
There's usually more tech.
Less
I
games.
don't have much up there right now, but it's just when I get a chance to do stuff, I put it up there. We do have another podcast, Recording the Heck Out of Politics. You can go to recordingpolitics.com to check that out if you want to.
To be fair, neither Cynthia or I are in that one. So that's all
That's
you,
true.
Kevin.
That's me, Kevin, and Taylor.
And Taylor. Okay, we're not there.
They're actually recording one themselves tonight.
We don't like politics.
That's fine. Not everyone
Sucks.
does.
Yeah.
So I've actually separated.
Don't tell him not to listen to it.
Well, no. So I've
if you
made
like politics,
I've
right?
made Recording the Heck Out of Politics its own feed. Although right now the Technobabble feed still includes that podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast, you don't want to listen to politics stuff, just skip it. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me at all. But I have noticed we've had a pretty good uptake on it. So
Awesome.
I'm glad that people are enjoying it. So,
Soon we will be obsolete, and you will be exclusively a politics caster.
no, I want to keep doing this, but I do like the politics as well. So thank you all for listening, and thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Dan.
Hey, yeah, no,
Yeah,
fun.
I had fun.
I ranted.
Did you?
I mean, I was here for a little bit of it.
I'm here for most of it.
Yeah.
You had to make a little exit there at one point, but yeah.
We smoothly handled that. I think.
We smoothly handled it by looking at you and making a silence on the podcast.
Smooth silence.
Smooth silence. All right, and we'll be back with you guys next time with Technobabble 39. Oh, music. Music is by some guy. I'll have it in the
McLeod.
credits.
Fox McCloud. No. Ryan
No,
McLeod?
it is. It's McLeod, though.
Ryan McLeod.
Bob?
From the Clan McCloud. Fox,
Murdoch
Fox.
McLeod.
Murdoch. Crazy Murdoch.
Murdoch McLeod. Kevin McLeod.
Oh.
Oh, we should have remembered.
Kevin
that.
McLeod. And he's got a website that I can't think about right now, but it's all under Creative Commons, and I'll put the information in the show notes, which we
great.
have none at this
Check it
moment. So
He does good tunes.
He does. That's what we're using for all of our music now. We're using his stuff because they're free and so on.
Yeah, and we're cheap.
And they haven't taken it down on YouTube yet. Good news, because I'm actually exporting video to YouTube now.
Oh, we're on YouTube now. Uh-oh.
Not with faces, just
Yeah. Audio.
just audio. So, all right, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on. Well, we won't see you. We'll talk to you on the next podcast.